Welcome to the world's fastest growing podcast that interviews random Todds and asks them unpredictable questions in a series of wacky segments.
Here at the Toddcast, we believe every Todd has a story, and we want to hear it. Welcome, everyone. And why don't you come on in and have a seat?
Is Chris Hansen? What are you doing?
That's what I felt like. It's a To Catch a Predator episode now. So everyone, go ahead and come in and take a seat. We're gonna listen to the words of artist Todd Francis. Check out his awesome illustrations on his Instagram at Todd Francis Art. We appreciate you dropping the drawing utensils for a moment to join us today. How's it going?
It's going well, guys. Thanks for having me on.
We appreciate you taking the time out. It's sure it's been a busy time for you with everything going on, or how's that been?
It's definitely a busy time because I have like sort of 6 different jobs. So I'm always just kind of dancing around different corners of the drawing table, trying to keep everybody from being mad at me.
Well, speaking of being mad at you,
great.
We're just just a tidbit for the listeners. We had a scheduling snafu where Michael and Brad screwed up the scheduling, and because Todd is on the West Coast, we are on the East Coast. So we were sitting here at 6 p.m. Eastern time waiting, and it is now 10 p.m. Eastern time, and within that time,
it's bedtime.
So we Michael and I fixed ourselves and we hung out until 10 o'clock. But during that time, I ate an entire large pizza.
Congratulations!
So that would not have happened if we would have done the right thing, Michael. So I'm not even pissed at Todd. I'm pissed at us.
I ate 3 salmons. So that's
full salmon. Just caught them right out of the stream.
Wow, that's like 3 fried chickens and a Coke. 3 whole salmons.
3 whole salmons. I'm just
like
savage.
a bear.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. It's a freaking Kodiak.
But I just wash it down with some milk and cookies. So watch out.
Yeah, watch out blankets.
Yeah, it's gonna be a rough night for your bowels.
Your trout
always is.
Trout hole. Yeah, so I couldn't help but notice that you worked on a very large mural. Was that for the was it Long Beach Surf Company?
Yeah, so that was just a couple of weeks ago, and one of the jobs that I've got is I'm an art ambassador with Vans, so I do a lot of work with Vans.
Oh wow, nice, that's awesome.
All over the country, and sort of traveled for them as well a little bit too. So that was a mural that was part of a checkerboard day, annual checkerboard day for Vans, and they had me doing a mural outside of a LB skate shop in Long Beach. And it was a really big wall, and I want to sound all cocky and confident about it, but it was hard. It was like a 50-foot wall, and it was tall, so I had to be up on a ladder, and I've got a thing about heights. So, and the ladder there was really sketchy, and so it was a good challenge, a good test.
Yeah, I was looking at the pictures. It looks great, and one of the pictures that I noticed, you have your butt cheeks out. Huh. Is that the norm? Is that your normal? Usually butt cheeks out when you paint?
That's why they send me all over the country and globe to work for them for the ass shots. No,
I mean they're great cheeks.
Yeah, sure. It's funny. So they had 9 of us doing murals all over the country at the same time as part of this thing, and you're paying attention to what the other artists are doing. I'm friends with a lot of them. I'm paying attention to what they're doing at the same time. And it's, if you follow a lot of different artists on Instagram, it can be very sincere and kind of earnest.
Yeah.
Which to me is sort of code for boring and self-important. And so I just look at everybody, and they just like they're working hard, diligent and all that. And it just gets boring, man. And I just the serious art world thing can get boring fast.
Yeah, that shtick is overplayed, I think.
Well, it's just the default way that most people
Yeah,
they want to be taken seriously, and so they just seem serious.
exactly.
And so a friend of mine who happens to be a really famous, sort of venerated pro skater who lives in Long Beach, he was hanging out with me that day, and I go, his name's Ray Barbie, and Ray was there, and he's a photographer, and he's like an icon, and he was just hanging out all day because he's like the rest of us, totally bored, and his life has been devoid of human contact for most of the year, like mine.
Yeah.
And so I happened to be in town for, I was down Long Beach every day for most of the week working. So he spent a lot of time hanging out with me. At the end of the day, I said, "Hey, Ray, I'm gonna reach up. I'm gonna have just a little butt crack showing. Take a picture of it, will you? Because I want to post that as my serious artist at work picture." And then my pants kind of slid down. I reached up and my pants kind of slid down a little further, and it became full moon fever.
Oh, yeah.
And he was like, "Yeah, that was a little more than I was expecting."
Yeah, you got two hams in the wind.
Yes, 2 canned hams, and yeah. So anyway, that was the story behind that.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I didn't know if that was just your normal thing, if that's how you just get in the zone and it's just ass out.
Yeah.
Or
yeah. That's not my signature move.
Oh, okay. Because that's how I do podcasts. Luckily,
I can't see you. It's bare assed. Yeah.
Oh yeah, just all assless chaps.
Mm-hmm. Liberated.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll hear a little bit more about when you've been liberated before in our first segment.
Once Upon a Todd.
All right. Once Upon a Todd, this is a segment where we hear a little bit more about you. So tell us kind of about your inspiration for your art.
Well, I guess I'm best known as being a skateboard artist, and that's what I've been doing my whole adult life. Then I work with vans. I actually do a page in Penthouse every issue. I've got a lot of different sort of fun jobs, but they're generally, then I do gallery stuff, and all of it, some of it's political, but it's usually sort of jokey political.
Yeah.
A lot of kind of environmental stuff. And so again, this is starting to go, you guys are probably thinking to yourselves like, wait, he just talked about how he doesn't like serious, earnest process talk. And yet he's launching on earnest, serious process talk.
It's complete 180 on us.
I know, yeah. This guy's bipolar. I read the newspaper every morning. I wake up and read the newspaper every morning, and I do just try and sort of stay informed. I actually read the physical newspaper too, like
nice.
4 years old. And so that tends to get me good and angry every day. And that's really where most of my inspiration comes from, is just staying abreast of what's going on in the world, and then getting good and heated, and then trying to figure out ways to redirect that anger, or sort of the reasons for that anger, I guess, without seeming like an a-hole,
Yeah.
No,
that's cool. Yeah.
I think
I kind of like lines up when I was in like middle school. I'd like write all this music, and I was never like a emo kid or an angsty kid, but like all my music I'd listen back to, I was like, oh man, I was so angsty. So it was like, I guess I just got all my feelings out that way, and then I portrayed myself as a different kind of person. But it sounds like you kind of have that similar outlet there, but with like illustrations and visual art.
Yeah, I'd say that's accurate. And the funny thing is, if I meet people in some sort of mixed environment that's not, where I'm just one of a bunch of people and nobody knows me or whatever, and they'll ask what I do, and I'm always like, yeah, I do. I'm like, it's like I'm talking about being a hitman, or like, I do art. No, what kind of stuff? Landscapes? No, it's well, I'm really, you seem nice. I'm really interested in seeing it. Well, it's not that nice. I look at it. At the end of the night, I'll tell you my Instagram. You can look at it there, but let's not let that ruin what's otherwise a fine evening. Yeah, there's a lot of that, and then later look like, wow, it's really messed up. You seem normal, and like there's a disappointment that usually comes with it.
You seem normal.
Yeah, you seem like an ordinary guy. Yeah, so
I don't know what they're talking about. I'm right now. I'm looking at a picture of it's two penguins doing a standing cartwheel 69.
What's not to like?
What's not? Yeah, that's normal stuff. That's what everyone aspires for. That's what I want in life.
People got a real chip on their shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I love the just it's just extremely different. You don't see a lot of it in your theme is. I mean, if anyone out there hasn't noticed, it's pigeons. What do you have? The roaches and just all kinds of different animals. I mean, there's one with the flies doing the riding the face.
Yeah. That's from, I did a series of board graphics for Antihero, and it was called For Lovers Only. Antihero is the name of the skateboard company that I've worked for since they started. It's a great skateboard company. I'm really lucky to work for them. And this thing, early in the year called For Lovers Only, and it's basically like Kama Sutra positions.
Yeah,
it's animals, but it's all like animals you don't really want to see in Kama Sutra positions. Flies, potato bugs, pigs, just
pigs.
It's unsightly. And so those are in shops now, and so people are tagging them on me, and a bunch of times on Instagram people have tagged me on stuff with like their 8-year-old son holding a deck, and it's two pigs going at it, like not just going at it, but like in experimental positions, and I'm
right.
like, what have I done? Hey. Yeah, it's because that's not the target audience. These are
right.
Antihero is a little more of a mature skateboard company.
Yeah.
For, whatever, a 19-year-old, not an 8-year-old. So it's a little rough.
I mean, but that's obviously not on you at all. That's not, everyone's out there. They get the parent discretion. If someone is fine with it, then I wouldn't turn an ear or turn a cheek. What is it? Turn a cheek to it? Is that a phrase? I don't know phrases.
Turn the other cheek.
But that's not even the right context to use that one.
Well, since we were talking about butt cheeks earlier, I'm totally confused. So
yeah, I'm still on I got cheeks on the brain, so.
Yeah. I don't know what to say to that.
Hey, it's just a day in the life.
I saw also here your the December 2020 calendar thing. The Santa basically laying motionless atop of some power lines. That was phenomenal. That gave me a good chuckle. I like that.
Oh, good. Yeah. I do. In the 2020, I did a calendar, and I do these pigeons. The pigeons are sort of a recurring theme in a lot of the art that I've done with Antihero over the years. And so the 2020 calendar was the year in pigeons, and so the December one that you saw was Santa fried in some power lines in a city. And the pigeons are all hanging out like no big deal. A couple of them were like lighting cigarettes off of his back, holdering. And so actually kicking off real soon here is my 2021 calendar is coming out, and it's more the same, but now with roaches and rats.
Nice.
Some new characters.
Pigeons, the year in pigeons and roaches and rats, and so it's a sort of a 3-way war where they're all screwing with each other. So. Yeah.
Wow. Where's the calendar at for purchase?
You can go to our website, which is just thefoolsmart.com. The art show that we did with this stuff is called Fools. And so thefoolsmart.com, and you can get to it from my Instagram too. It's pretty easy to find.
Yeah, it's in the bio of his Instagram. So if you're you check out at Todd Francis Art, it's right there in the bio.
Yeah, if you're running low on mayo, they've also got some mayonnaise on the website as well.
There's a lot of bad stuff on there. Yeah,
there's a lot of good stuff.
It's all great. One of each, please.
No, that's awesome. So you kind of brought up earlier, you kind of have like 6 jobs. What all do you dabble in? I mean, you've got the art here. What else is your?
Well, I mean, sort of I think what most people know me for is my skateboard graphics, and that's working for Antihero since they started, and that's kind of the backbone to my career. My work is doing board graphics for them, which is so much fun, and then that has led to the work that I do with fans, where I'm, like I said, sort of an art ambassador for them. I do murals and do a lot of like workshops and things like that for them. Under normal circumstances, in a normal year, like last year, I was flying all over the place and doing murals and workshops, that sort of stuff. This year, I'm doing more like videos from home, sort of inspirational videos to try and sort of inspire people to be creative while they're sitting at home depressed about COVID.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, something we can all relate to. And and then I mentioned I do a page for Penthouse magazine every issue. So I have the fun page. I have the fun page in every issue of Penthouse where I just get to kind of do whatever I want, and that's fun too. I editorial illustration or cartooning or whatever you want to call it was a lifelong love of mine, and so I get to do that in a magazine that doesn't really have taste barriers or constraints, and so that's a very fun job as well.
Yeah,
and I do studio art. I do illustrations and I do paintings and drawing stuff for gallery art shows as well. So it's nice. That's the full list, more or less.
So you've always had kind of a creative hand at what you've been, creative outlets, all kinds of off the wall thoughts, or was it? How did you get into it? I guess.
Well, childhood when we're all sitting around doing artwork, like I'm sure you guys did too. And
yes,
I just maybe put my nose down a little longer and cared about it a little bit more. And also, I wasn't really good at anything else. It wasn't like I was some like standout athlete or some I didn't do particularly well in school. I wasn't earmarked for business success from an early age, nor was I raised in that kind of environment. So I got really into art in high school, wound up being lucky enough to go to college as an art major, and became really serious about it there. And then got out of school with a head full of steam and wound up parlaying that steam into working in the skateboard industry in San Francisco, which is what I had moved to after college.
Nice.
Man.
Yeah. So I assume being affiliated with Anti-Hero, you skateboard pretty often, or are you just a decorator?
Yeah. I skate, but I don't work in the skateboard industry because I'm an amazing skater. I have the job that I have because of the art that I do. And these days, my skating is pushing around my neighborhood, skating down a couple hills, trying not to get hurt. That level. My skateboarding is bound to the earth these days.
You use it more as a mode of travel than a adrenaline rush.
Well, and it's fun. It's super fun. I love.
Yeah.
I live in this neighborhood that has a couple nice little hills, and so I'll go cruise down there, and there's still some adrenaline to those because I am actually back in the neighborhood that I grew up in, and I sustained a couple of concussions growing up around here on those hills, and so I have these flashbacks to that, and so I've managed to overcome some of that fear, but there's still some excitement to be had.
That's good.
Do you have a preference between? Obviously, you might have a bias here: skateboard versus longboards.
Yes, I do. Not that my opinion matters that much, but for people who skate, like really skating, longboards are kind of made fun of. It's a sort of a different world, and it's I understand everyone wants to push around on something. Longboards are much easier to stand on and stay on and not fall off of, and that sort of thing. Yeah. Just for reason. But it's not really my world so much.
Yeah, that was never mine. I mean, I went to I think it was 7th grade. I went to a little skate park with a buddy who actually, rode skateboarded and all that. And I remember I was like on top of that 3-foot half ramp or I don't even know what the words are. Half pipe. Yeah.
The half ramp.
And I was just standing up there for like 2 hours, like shaking, terrified. And I think I would try to go down once, like ate it. And I was like, all right, that's enough.
The one memory I have of me trying to skateboard is me sitting I was on my paved cement driveway. I was out there for hours I just wanted to get one ollie down. And the last time I tried, I popped the board up too high. I was up and I just got credit carded right in the gooch. And it just
straight to
I felt like I was gonna throw up. I was like, nope. And then the skateboard went in the room and I put it back on the little rack I had for it, and I just went and played Tony Hawk. So
and there it lived. Yeah. It's an unforgiving activity, and unlike like whatever, learning how to play basketball or something, you don't.
Yeah.
The ground comes a lot faster and sort of more surprisingly. So yeah, it's not for everybody.
Yeah, it was a rough time for the old area down there.
The taint, yeah,
Yeah, the old taint,
Yeah.
right in the old gooch taint region.
Yeah.
What if Todd was one of us?
Well,
Yes.
that was a horrible transition, but here we
Oh
are.
no, I thought that was smooth as Todd's cheeks. Yeah, so this segment here, this is a what if Todd was one of us? This is pretty much a member of the Todd squad will send in a situation they've been in, kind of look for advice from you. If you were in that situation, what would you have done? How could they have done what they did differently? So this one comes in from a listener, and it's I went to Chipotle the other day. When I slid my card, the reader prompted me for a tip. I didn't tip, because I didn't think it was necessary, and quite frankly, it made me uncomfortable. Before I could see the cashier's response, I grabbed the food and left. What would you have done? Would you have tipped in this situation, or is this person just a major jerk face for not tipping at like a Chipotle?
Right. I'm not going to say they are a jerk face, but what I'm going to say is in 2020, people who are working a register deserve hazard pay. They are exposed to droplets, and so they deserve. While 2 years ago, when you go get an ice cream and you're using one of those spin around those card scanners, those really nice ones, those readers.
Yeah.
They try and get you for a tip.
Yeah.
And I'm always a little like,
yeah, it's the iPad. They spin the iPad around, and it's
exactly.
Yeah.
And you're like, really? Okay, what did you do exactly? But I think that those questions are out the window now because those people are doing a service that bucks safety concerns, and for minimum wage. And so I think it's a small price to pay. 15% of a $9 burrito is a $1.30 or something, $1.40.
Yeah.
So I think
it's not much.
I think they deserve. If there's ever a time to be sympathetic to people who have to work in the service industry, of which I was one for a long time growing up, now is the time for that. So that's what I would say.
Good perspective.
So, with that kind of situation, do you know who gets the tip actually? Like if you tip the $1.30, is it the cashier? Is it the cooks? Do they all have to split it? Like who gets that?
Well, I think I actually know the answer because my daughter was a host and is a host at a restaurant. And so she, the way it works is that tip, that $1.50, goes to everybody that's in on tip sharing. So I believe that the cooking crew isn't in on tip sharing.
Oh, okay.
But everybody that's involved in customer service, as well as like if it's a restaurant that does that, then obviously the wait staff is in on that, as well as the hosts. But like the manager doesn't get it, and nor do the cooks. But at a Chipotle, where it seems like those lines are blurred because you see the person who like just rang you up, go back and flip a couple chicken thighs.
Yeah, it's like they're all doing everything, so it's very
there's a level playing field there. And so I imagine, and it seems like there's about 5 people working at Chipotle every given time. So I think that each of them probably does get a cut of that.
And see, like if that's the situation, like it makes tipping 15% seem like a dick move actually, because like they're splitting that, like 6 people are splitting $1.30.
Right.
It's like, oh, here's 18
cumulative.
cents a person. Yeah.
Yes, but if there's a line behind you, or there's people, if it's a Chipotle where there's people kind of funneling in and out, then and these are people who agreed to that job before tips were a thing. Like I think they didn't go in expect say a person who waits tables, they get minimum wage. Everything's about tips, and that's just inherent to the job. And so
just the tip.
Yeah. So and then right at Chipotle, it's somewhere in between.
Yeah. In most of those situations, like I I don't like the interaction because like if I fill out the receipt and I give it back to them and they can physically see that like I did not give them anything, I feel
They
like
have to type it in before.
Yeah, I feel like the worst person. So like if I have the receipt and I have to fill it out and give it back to them, I'm putting like $3 on all the time usually. But
just like avoid judgment.
Yeah, basically just to avoid judgment. And I mean, it's a good thing that I'm trying to avoid judgment, I guess, because I'm giving them a little extra money. But in the situations that you brought up earlier with like the iPad, I hit no tip because like once it flips around, they don't see it anymore and they just like, it just goes on. I mean,
or do they get instant feedback?
It feels less personable because I'm not writing it though.
Yeah.
Oops, I hit the wrong button.
I'm taking the effort to write 0 on here rather than just.
Yeah. I understand your issue of empowerment versus judging. To me, it's more about feeling whether or not I did the right thing.
Right.
Now, the difference is if you go to say like a Starbucks and they have a tip jar. So Starbucks or something like that, it's just a slider. There's no tip action, but there's a tip jar. And before I elevate myself to sound like a classy guy, what I do at Starbucks is I will tip them, but I want to make sure they see me putting that dollar.
Oh yeah, you got to be like,
they got to see it going in. If they didn't see it going in, then it didn't happen.
Right.
And I want them to be more generous than the person who was in front of me. And
that reminds me of, I don't know if you've ever watched Seinfeld fan, where George puts the money in the tip jar. The person doesn't see it. He goes to take it back out.
And they spot him taking it out.
Yeah. And I feel like, I mean, obviously the things you do when people aren't watching is your character, blah, blah, blah. But it is nice to feel that like I did this for you kind of thing.
I got your back.
Right. It's like, I'm here for you.
I see you working.
Yeah.
Now see this tip.
Because then if they don't see you put it in there, they may give you like a dirty look and be like, "Screw you, man."
Yeah, he's just another jabroni, just another zombie that's shuffling in here. Maybe I'll spit in their drink, and if he's got like a stupid face, maybe I'll forget his order or something. I need to ensure that there's no barriers between me and whatever it is that I'm waiting for. That it comes out on time. That no one, because I worked. My first jobs were all restaurants, things like that.
Same.
It was a dark time, and we messed with people's food.
Oh gosh.
We did all kinds of stuff. It was horrible.
Yeah. It was not good.
No, not good. It was angry, and so I want to give those people zero reason to feel that way about me.
Yeah, and see, like I worked at a undisclosed, we won't name it, restaurant, and I worked in the food area, so we were prepping everything.
Let me guess. Did they serve bloomin' onions?
Oh, this guy.
Yeah, I knew it.
He seemed like that kind of guy.
Yeah.
And there was times there would be no reasoning and they would just screw the food, mess with the food and send it out. Like it wouldn't be the people because everyone's like, oh, if I send this back, they're going to screw with it. There was just people screwing with food that was just going out for no reason. Like you would drop a steak on the floor, pick it up, toss it on the plate, send it out there. Like,
yeah. I worked at a restaurant and we didn't do it indiscriminately. We would do it to people who were dicks. And so you take a hamburger bun and rub it around.
It was justified.
Oh, totally justified.
Yeah, that's justified.
The level that we took it to, unjustified and illegal and dangerous and probably bacterial. But they had something coming. They just didn't have E. coli.
They're missing out. Yeah, but everyone out there, like if you hear these stories, be kind to these food service workers. They control a lot of the stuff that goes into your mouth. So
and the food items that go into your mouth, they deserve respect. They're working hard.
Let's take care of our food service workers and give them the tip.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know what? When I like to give the tip, Brad,
it's time to prod Todd.
There it is.
When? How's the key operative word? When?
You did a great job there, sir.
And not just the tip. But
all I have is the tip.
it's just
I'm just one tip.
Gosh. Thanks for that visual. Anyways,
You're welcome.
so Prod Todd, this is a series of just completely random questions here. Sorry, I just read it. The first one we have for you is: have you ever been aroused by a food item?
Actually sexually aroused?
Yeah, like either by the way it looks or how it made you feel afterwards, or either way.
Oysters, maybe.
It's a boring answer, but no, I love to cook and I'm a prodigious eater, but I've never confused the two, nor have I been like, oh, that cantaloupe is making me horny as
I don't know, man.
It's never not really like that, but I am a passionate eater, and so there is a certain lust for food and for eating that I possess that a lot of people that I know around me, especially in LA, where everybody cares about how they look and stuff, where I'm just aghast at how dispassionate people are about, I'll eat whatever, I don't care, I don't like to cook, I don't really like to eat. I'm like, what the hell? What else? What else is there? So
you make love to your meals.
Every meal, there's a little bit of love making. Yeah. So I'm not a total monster.
Right. When you got Michael over there just taking 2 hot dogs at once and just
just the buns.
Yeah, just right in the buns. 2 hot dogs right in his buns.
Oh,
he takes 2 hot dogs and throws the wieners out the window and focuses on his buns. Yeah.
Oh no, I kind of side with Todd. I don't know. I've never really personally been aroused by a food item, but I did see like a 1-pot chicken Alfredo recipe on Facebook earlier that was kind of got a little heated. I don't know.
Maybe get a little chubbed.
I've had meals that were like chicken chubbed Alfredo. I've had meals that were like, experiences, having sushi in Japan. We were like, what the hell have I been eating my whole life? This is just much better,
Yeah.
But I don't the boundaries aren't blurred.
Yeah. Yeah, food has never brought me to completion as either. So I think we all are
close.
There's been some where I've been kind of
not even the clear stuff.
Yeah. Pre-Jack. So
there you go. I got you on that one. Hands in the face.
So I guess to bring it back to butt cheeks again.
Oh yeah.
Here's a would you rather question. Would you rather replace your butt cheeks with regenerating whoopee cushions or regenerating water balloons? So every time you sit down.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah. Either you wet your pants every time you sit down or you fake fart every time you sit down. To me, that seems like a very easy question to answer because who wants to have to change their pants every time they sit down? Keep in mind, I sit down for a living. I sit and draw for a living. So I'd be sitting in a puddle of wetness. And every time I adjust, I would like, oh, there's more,
Oh, there's some more.
More water. So no, that's an easy question to answer. I would be, for a while, I would probably delight in that fart sound before it would wear thin. But imagine you're going to a restaurant like we will all someday again, and every time you sit down, water seeps out of your ass into the. That's no.
And see, that's more. It's all about how you are as a person. Do you want to distract others, or like if I go in a restaurant and I sit down next to, say I'm in a nice restaurant, I sit down, make this massive fart sound. Everyone in that vicinity is bothered by it, but if I sit down and I just sit on these water balloons that bust and I am wet, then no one else knows, and I'm the person. I just deal with it on my own. So I'm not bothering anybody else. So
I understand that. I think to me, the other thing about the whoopee cushion that I've never understood, I understand that it's the part that's never made sense to me is who the hell sits down and farts at the same time. It doesn't happen.
It doesn't.
You get comfortable, you like shift to one side, try and sneak one out, or you aggressively blast one out. But it's never like, oh, I'm just gonna take a seat and
right. It's never that.
Yeah.
No.
I
think people would understand and see it and know that it's not real.
Yeah, that's fart 101 right there. Like
look, I
You're very
I do
observant.
a lot of thinking on my own.
Yeah. Yeah. Most people wouldn't even think about that. But I mean, that is probably I've farted in many different positions, many different places, but I don't think I've ever accomplished as soon as my butt cheeks hit the chair fart.
That takes skill.
It does.
You'd have to plan it.
Yeah.
Right. You do.
Here's the thing. Have you ever actually had a fart that is, I'm assuming this is each cheek is its own whoopee cushion. Have you ever had a fart that's as loud as 2 whoopee cushions going off? Those things are loud. Like that's,
I've definitely had some
I've had them come close.
I've had a recent, I have a recent,
After
lactose
the pizza you had
intolerance.
earlier.
I think went to knock on wood just now.
I'm newly lactose intolerant. So my,
Oh, that pizza's I got some bad news for you.
I am ruining myself right now. I've had to mute my microphone like 3 or 4 times.
Oh, come on. You're among friends here. Don't mute it.
Share the love.
Come on.
Yeah, my chair is hating this. But yeah, I've definitely had some that would have some decibels on them. So
Yeah, that's the thing about the whoopee cushion is it's such this it's like an air horn. It's such a loud, long burst that I don't think you're fooling anybody. Nobody thinks that that's a real fart. And I think there's a culpability that you're able to escape with that.
And also, like, if that becomes your norm, like you could just let real farts out all the time. And
if that was your norm and people accepted it,
you
just think of the other things you could get away with. I mean,
you can. The world is your oyster. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, it's just you go on a tear. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, so you would rather have whoopee cushions. Sounds
I mean, it's a plausible answer.
Yeah, I think I have to agree.
No one asked
So
you.
the next question we got here is Bobcat short for Robert Cat?
Robert Cat Goldthwait. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think it is. I think that the animal, the bobcat, was actually named because it has that stylish short haircut that dips under its ears and curves forward.
Like the bob.
The bob.
Yeah, just like the bob.
So that makes
That's
more
where I think
sense.
that comes from. Yeah, they all have. Just take a closer look at them. You'll see they have a carefully trimmed little.
They are well groomed in the hair region.
There's no denying that.
Yeah,
it's inarguable.
Yeah, any bobcat I've met has always been very, very elegantly haired.
Prim.
Yeah, so prim.
Yeah.
Always wants to speak to the manager.
Proper. Yeah. not proper, but prim.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. I don't know. It would be nice if it was called Robert Cat. I don't know though.
Sounds
I wouldn't
fancy.
In certain settings, I think you could Sir Robert Cat introduction.
Yeah,
Robert Cat. Call me Bobcat. Like,
call me Bobcat.
But I think, in formal situations,
Excuse me, Robert Cat.
Debutante's balls, those sorts of things.
Yeah.
But I think on the street, in the woods, it's Bobcat.
That's a street name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's up, Bobcat? Yeah.
I think that's a good answer. Have you ever seen a bobcat in real life?
Yes, I have.
Oh, nice.
I've seen 4, and they're awesome.
All at once?
I saw 2 at once, and then 1, and then another. So 3 incidents. One time I saw 2 bobcat chasing each other around an oak tree, and they were, when you see squirrels chasing each other around like a telephone pole or something, where they're 12 feet off the ground, they're just running circles. I saw 2 bobcat doing that, and their claws you could hear. Yeah, and they were like easily 200 yards away, and you could hear their claws on the tree. It made such a noise. They were, and it's like a big husky cat, and they would do that 10 feet up a tree and go around and around and around and around, chasing each other. It was impressive. And then I saw a couple of different bobcat in the sequoias, which is like this famous redwood forest here in like central California. And and I saw one in Topanga, close to here, in LA. They're like the size of a really big house cat, but they're kind of diesel. They look like little bears. Like they're much more muscular. Are you getting up to fart right now? Oh, okay.
I was getting attacked by the dog, and I had to disguise. I disguised a couple farts in there as well. So
I kept hearing the dog squeal, and I was like, "Oh,
yeah, he's
Brad,
pissed at me. He's like, "Hey, man,
are those your cheeks flapping?"
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen a bobcat in real life, nor have I ever met one. I don't know if I will. I'll probably try to see if I can find one at some point in my life.
I think you should. I think it's always important to see some of these animals that we've heard about our whole lives, just to see how the reality matches the cartoon version.
Yeah,
and they're beautiful. I'm an animal nut, and I love cats, so I'm a little,
Oh, nice.
A
little partial to the bob.
Yeah.
So, why is a picture worth 1,000 words? You seem like a pretty good guy to ask this question to.
For the same reason that why do you think that every Todd has a story?
Ooh.
This guy.
I don't know I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know if every Todd has a story.
I mean, they definitely have stories.
Words. Are they? They have to be good. Yeah, they good.
We didn't specify if they were good or bad. They just have a story.
Yeah,
and we want to hear it.
There's nothing worse than a bad storyteller, and we've all been around them, and they think they're good at it, and the story's going nowhere, and it's not funny, and so I anoint them carefully. Why does every picture have 1,000? Well, look, a picture of a beach, you could just ramble for 1,000 words about describing the color of the water and the color of the sky and the angle it's taken from and the type of day it is and where you think it might be. Doesn't make it interesting. It's just 1,000 words. It's not 1,000 interesting words.
Oh,
that's true. I mean, do you think there's any picture that's worth 1,000 interesting words?
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm sure you guys have favorite artists, and you could sit there and talk about why their work or why this one piece of their work hits you in such a way, and ramble for about 4 lungfuls of air, and you'll probably bang out 1,000 words.
Yeah.
So bang it in. 4 lungfuls.
Yeah.
That's how I'm going to start measuring stuff.
Mm-hmm. How many lungfuls it took to get through it. Yeah.
A really shallow breath, so.
Yeah.
It's going to be one of those things like when you're high, and if you go in too deep and you're like, am I breathing too much? Am I breathing too little? You get paranoid.
You're so paranoid about it.
Edible, and you found out you're only supposed to eat the corner of it, and you're like, oh great, I'm going to be monitoring my own breathing and scaring myself for the next 7 hours.
You're just sitting there, just like, okay, all right, that's I'm doing good. You got to coach yourself. Yeah.
Not good.
Do you have any pictures in your mind, Michael, that would be worth 1,000 words? 1,000 inspirational or good words?
Man, I don't have. See, we just got this house earlier.
You have an easy answer.
Wait, are you talking about the periodic table above my eyes right now?
No,
it's beautiful photography.
You recently got married.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah,
I'm sure.
Beautiful photo of my wife from our wedding. And
there you go.
Boy, I could just.
But you went with the periodic table of the elements.
That was your gut. Yeah, that was your go-to.
I need to tell her to stop listening.
Moron.
Yeah, you're just
you idiot.
I'm gonna go back and watch this video. I'm like, there's a weird cutout there. Like, what happened to that part of the video?
Just awkwardly transitions to my beautiful wife.
Yeah, Sarah's gonna love this.
Oh no.
She takes the second place to the periodic table.
She always loves when I bring her up. I blame Todd
either. You
can't blame Todd. Yeah, we'll blame one of the past Todds.
Please, I'd not be held responsible for that. I wasn't aware that was there. I didn't bring it up.
Yeah. What about you, Brad?
Huh?
What about you? You tell me a picture.
A picture of you and your lovely new bride.
Oh, excuse me. Hold on, that's your first answer.
You're welcome.
Now the edit on that should be him talking about the periodic tables and not ever talking about his wife, and then when it's his turn to answer it, it goes straight to him bringing up the for what seems like the first time.
I carry one around in my wallet, actually. If you
You should put it in the car.
it's on the dash of my car. And
You got an inspirational quote next to it for no reason.
yeah.
Well. Huh. Thank you. Thanks for ruining my life. And one of these people might ruin your life. Maybe, maybe not. But if you were to choose a roommate, which one of these two would it be? Would it be Seth Rogen or Guy Fieri?
It would be Seth Rogen.
Ooh.
And that's an easy answer as well.
Ooh.
I find Guy... Is it Guy Fieri or Guy Fieri? Is there an R after the F?
No, it's just Fieri.
Fieri. Yeah.
Fieri.
I find him...
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Guy
thought it was
Fieri.
what, Fieri?
Fieri. Yeah.
Screw that guy.
Yeah,
Sucks.
I'm not a big fan of his persona, and I feel like there'd be a lot of visors and wraparound shades left everywhere.
Yeah.
And then there'd be a lot of like a lot of grease splattered all over the kitchen.
Everything's just covered in grease and barbecue sauce.
Yeah, just a lot of splattering. And then I my guess is, because I love to cook. I do a ton of cooking. So I'm not disliking him for his passion for cooking, obviously.
Yeah.
But my guess is he doesn't do a lot of cleaning anymore. You know, he's used to not having to do a lot of cleanup after himself.
Yeah.
So spoiled.
So, yes. And so that'd be a problem. Seth Rogen, I've listened to a lot of interviews with him and watched a thing recently where he's from Vancouver. He's in Vancouver with a famous chef, and they're cruising around, and he was extremely likable and sensitive and aware. There you go. So
that was unexpected, actually.
That's fine. I like it. That's sort of the indicator that I may be going on too long with an answer, by the way, too. Let's anytime, like, instead of having to do the wrap it up, they just lean over a little.
They just throw an old fart ski out there.
Burst of gas, and I'll know that.
Oh God. Not.
So yeah, does that make sense?
No, yeah, it does. Is there any
Seth Rogen's obviously hilarious and creative?
Oh yeah, he's great. He's one of my favorite dudes. I feel like he'd be a fun guy to live with.
Yeah. You'd have more conversations with him.
Yeah, I think Guy would just sit there and just eat. He'd just be eating like couch cushions and just everything would just be. He's the mayor of Flavortown. Like he needs the flavor.
I mean, I've always wanted someone to refer to my food as Flavortown, so
yeah,
I would enjoy that personally. But
he's somebody that gets aroused at food items.
He does.
I don't think he actually does. I
don't know. He's full.
This is a borderline sexual experience, but I don't think he's chumming up. I think he's just saying that.
Prove it, guy.
He's went to
there should be a
crotch
cam.
Times.
There should be a crotch cam. And you see a shifting in there, then you're like, okay,
maybe
right.
This
it worked.
This lamb chop is really
pretty good.
That pierogi was as good as advertised.
Right, it moved the needle for him. He went from 6 to midnight real quick.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's all depending on the how big the guy is down there as well. You're not gonna be able to notice much if
this guy.
How big, check out guy's guy is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Woo! Excuse me.
What was that?
Your answer's going on too long, Brad. So I just
so you're all these bodily cues. We'll just take it to a Nicolas Cage like question here. Are you a big Nick Cage fan?
Not really.
Oh,
I
good.
mean,
who should be?
No, not really. No, not really. No.
Screw you, Nick Cage. So would you rather, based off 2 of his movies, would you rather steal the Declaration of Independence or be able to steal any car in 60 seconds?
I guess because I seem to recall that National Treasure, is that the name of the movie where he steals it? So I feel like in that movie he was finding that it was hidden somewhere. So he wasn't stealing it like from the museum.
Right.
He was discovering it hidden somewhere else based on all these goofy clues. And so I think I would rather do that, unearth a lost treasure, and hopefully for the betterment of mankind in some way, as opposed to hot wiring a Camaro to satisfy some debt. I don't really like cars very much, so
that's good.
Stealing. I just steal a car to drive it off a pier or something. Like I wouldn't. I don't want a car.
Would you do anything with the Declaration of Independence? Would you like frame it, or would you
I
destroy
wouldn't
it?
frame it in my. I would no. I would. Like so. Say it's somewhere where it's not supposed to be.
Yeah.
I would return it to a place where kids can walk up to it and look at it. Not in my living room.
You know what? Kids are just like, hey, we're here to see the Declaration. Like, no, get out of here.
Yeah.
God,
Yeah, this.
Yeah. Nerd, get out of here, nerd.
Start bullying them.
Yeah, just
Yeah. Go check out the Bill of Rights.
come back here when you're older.
I think I'd want it to be someplace free that as many kids could stand next to it as possible and check it out.
Now, would you sneak your signature on there?
My own John Hancock. You know what? This is what I would do. It would not be Todd Francis or any other Todd. It would be like Lou Skunt or or Neil Hamburger. Some name that's a joke name that people would be like, "What the?" And when they say it out loud, they're like, "Oh, I said that."
Is that huge G-rection? Who is that?
Hugh,
what was he?
Yeah, that's a great one. The one I often use, Hugh Jassol.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Jassol.
That's my
French
name at hotels. Yeah.
All you have is John. All you see is John Hancock, and then it's just like 42 like novelty names around it. It's just completely lost all credibility.
Yep. It'd be great. It's a good idea.
I think it would be pretty cool to have the Declaration of Independence. Stealing a car, like people steal cars all the time. But how many people have stolen the Declaration of Independence? You're the only person.
Or recovered it. More importantly.
Right. It's not even stealing. You're doing a deed.
It's for the betterment of mankind.
You're on a quest.
You're righting a wrong, and stealing a car is probably making someone's life worse.
Now, unless I guess if you're stealing it from a dealership, it's not. I mean, it's not technically horribly. Like if you're stealing it from a person, if I was to steal a car, allegedly, I would steal it from a dealership versus a person. I would rather take the money from.
Stick it to the man.
Yes, take that
to the man.
Henry T. Ford.
Yep.
Not you, Betty Susan over
White.
there with your Betty White.
Betty White. Why are you stealing?
I would never steal Betty White's car.
Stealing a Walker.
Oh God.
She's driving like a Chrysler Town and Country.
Give me that. Just
This is Grand Theft Auto. That I almost said that bitch.
Oh my God.
But I would never say that about Betty White.
She's so sweet.
Yeah, she is.
You know what else is sweet? Eggs. And Todd, what are the top 3 ways to eat eggs?
None of them are sweet. I'll tell you that.
Oh, you don't sugar your eggs up?
Do I sweeten them? Actually, egg custard. Egg custard is sweet. So
There we go.
See, there you go.
My favorite 3 ways to eat eggs would be this morning's were a 2-egg scramble with guacamole and salsa on top.
Ooh.
Sitting on top of a tortilla that was made yesterday. And that was pretty good. And that was good. If there's a second way, I would say like a kitchen sink sort of omelet scramble kind of thing with turkey and mushrooms and everything, a bunch of other stuff thrown in there.
Yeah.
Third way, I just want to depart. It's not going to be hard boiled. That's for damn sure.
Oh, really?
I hate. You know what it is? I hate runny yolks. Runny yolks make me sick.
Oh, I wish I could just have the yolk by itself just running all over me.
Just
Bust off.
Oh man, you just smear it on your chest.
Yeah, just
why on your chest? On your hairy chest.
I just I cut into
Yolk
it.
up
And
that
just
chest.
Yeah, just all.
No sir. There's okay. How about this? The third
Egg
way.
hub.
There's a bar / restaurant that is close to me. That's run by Roy Choi. He's a beloved Los Angeles chef. It's called The Alibi. Great bar at Venice, and their food is amazing. And they have this dish called the sour cream hen house, and it's a fried egg that's placed on top of chopped Chinese broccoli on top of rice with like a Korean sort of sauce over it, and caramelized onions and pickled ginger that's sprinkled on top of it. And it is so damn good. Oh
that
man,
sounds
so
good.
See?
That's an off the wall kind of way to eat eggs. I've never.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Shout out to Vans.
That'll be my third of the three, even though that actually is the most flavor town of the three. But
it's very Guy Fieri of you.
Yeah, I started with reality and went to like if I have to, ride my bike 10 minutes to.
Can we go to the crotch cam of you whenever you were describing that? Because I'm pretty sure. Oh yeah.
Oh God.
I should like just talking about stuff and then the movement.
It's like this is where we get
flagged on YouTube.
You guys told me that I need to keep it clean, and you're both dragging it into the gutter in ways that I was predisposed against based on I thought you wanted this to go. So maybe I'm liberating you, or maybe you're going to regret this tomorrow when you sober up.
We were just trying to see how easy it was to mislead you.
So easy.
What a rube! You went for that.
No, see, and like we were talking about, I'm a big runny yolk fan. So like a fried, like a lightly fried egg, like over easy. Just give me that all day. A boiled egg, I'll just eat it like an apple.
Oof, that's hard.
And then the eggs of the devil's eggs, the deviled eggs.
Oh,
yes.
I have a hard time saying deviled eggs because I don't like yolks,
the devil.
And I'm doing the devil.
I hate Satan.
Yeah, he's my favorite thing about deviled eggs is the devil. I dislike mayonnaise. I really hate mayonnaise. The idea of egg yolk mixed with mayonnaise with paprika slapped across it, stuffed back into an egg white. For me, I'm going to just shake out all that goop and just eat the egg white and just swallow it as quickly as possible. The rest of the stuff is out of here.
Oh, so man, we would never be egg buddies.
I would never steal your meal.
That's for damn sure. Anytime if we ever go out for a meal, we're going to the egg bar. Actually, we'll just go
breakfast.
What about you, Michael? You seem like a just raw egg guy.
Shell and
all. Blender?
Yeah, just go ahead, throw it in there, make it up with a smoothie. No, I would never. I've never done that. And
you've never had a raw egg? I've done it once. It's not good.
I did it
tastes
once.
Was it good? Yeah. Actually, I have gotten like raw egg whites and like made my own foam for like a cocktail.
Yeah,
it was a lot of work though.
No, you got to crack it just right in the mouth hole. Just go straight there.
Smear the yolk in the chest, and no, I prefer. I'm a poached egg guy. I like a good eggs Benedict, so I get down with that. My normal order for eggs, if I get them like just kind of cooked, I say over a medium, which is like probably the most pretentious way to order an egg.
Yeah.
It's not. I got that from my parents, and I was like, I've never heard anyone else order over medium eggs.
Was you ever ordered rare?
Rare, medium rare egg, please.
I'd like mine rare.
I'd like them in the shell, please.
Knock its horns off and slap it in the face and throw it on a plate.
And my last way for eggs. Ooh, I would do French toast because you have to use eggs to get the French toast.
Yeah.
You have to.
There's no substitutes.
All right. So with French toast being brought up, rank these: pancakes, waffles, French toast.
Who's going first?
It's all on you, Todd. All over you.
Let's see. Waffles, pancakes, French toast. I would start with French toast because to me, I start with French toast because there's eggs and there's toast. That's
it. It's French fries, right?
Need I say more? And then I'd say French toast. Second, I would say pancakes because like you can really do them up with with blueberries, cinnamon. You can sort of occupy them in an exciting way. And then third would be waffles because I find waffles to be kind of boring. I'm honestly, I'm not a huge fan of any of the three. They're not really a go-to for breakfast for me. I made
really?
a lot of pancakes for my kids when they were growing up and stuff, but I don't go out of my way for either any of those.
Yeah, I feel like pancakes are stupid. Like they're edible junk frisbees. Like I hate them. I don't know. They piss me off. French toast seems like the most, like you were saying, is the most authentic. It seems like the most authentic of them.
Yeah.
I feel like you can't. I mean, obviously you can just whip. Eggo makes French toast and pancakes and waffles. They screwed up everything. But I feel like a good French toast is better than a good waffle or a good pancake.
The ceiling's higher. I agree.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The ceiling is much higher.
Yeah.
The floor, it doesn't have a bad floor either. So.
Yeah.
To me, the fluffy white pancake is awful. Just a big fluffy pancake that just sucks up every drop of moisture in your mouth is the worst.
What is this? What is this doing here? What about you, Michael? You seem like you seem French toast as well. French toast.
I think, I think so. But I'm also like wondering if I want to make it number 2 on my end because I'm not like a huge sweets. There's a sweet factor.
This is true.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking waffles goes number 1. Like a Belgian waffle is pretty cool. You got like the little valleys for your syrup and all that to chill. Even though I just said I don't like sweets. So I'm over here just being.
You make no sense.
Well, I get sugar-free syrup because I'm a loser. And then also, I think French toast is second. That's basically a tie. I don't know. Yeah. And then pancakes. I do like a good pancake, but I feel like people screw up pancakes more than they perfect them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pancakes there's a very thin line of where they're just like real good. And then after that, it's just like, screw this. I'd rather eat my plate.
I think I'd rather have crepes than pancakes.
Ooh. Yeah, let's throw crepes in there too. I haven't had a good crepe in a while.
Yeah, crepes is going to 1.
Crepes are great.
Yeah, because you can do so many things with crepes.
You fill them with anything. It's a tortilla.
Yeah,
it's
possibilities are endless.
Sky's the limit.
Oh man, well that was certainly an odd segment, and so
cut that right out.
And so is this next segment.
That's odd, Todd.
So this segment, this is all you, Todd. This is the 2 truths and 1 lie. So if you have those ready, go ahead and just whip those out and put them out there for us.
Okay, so 2 truths and a lie.
Ooh.
These all took place in San Francisco. I had to come up with an umbrella, an overarching sort of theme to them. All took place in San Francisco when I lived there. When I first started working in the skateboarding industry.
Okay.
And number 1, my friends and I, we would carpool to work, and we would buy those Odwalla naked juice drinks, and we would finish them off, and then we would take the finished container and stuff it under the seat in the person's car and not tell them. And the heat of the day during the course of a week or 2 would cause the plastic to expand and eventually burst, spraying bacterial contents into someone's car if they didn't find it in time, and leaving discoloration and bad smells. That's one. Second one, in San Francisco as well, my roommates and I had a dispute with our landlord over a security deposit. And so when we moved out, we knew we were moving out, and we gathered roadkill, froze it in the freezer, cut away the drywall of the wall, pulled it away. So we stuffed the frozen roadkill into the wall, sealed the wall back up, painted it exactly the way it had been before, and then we moved out. San Francisco is a cold place, so it would take a while for that roadkill to thaw and then rot. But once it does, the smell and the effect would be ruinous.
Oh my gosh.
And that was how we got back at the landlord.
I like that.
That's number true. 2.
Okay.
Number 3, also working at that same skateboard company, we used to prank each other constantly. And what we would do, we would run to the local burrito place, take an order for everybody in the art room, and get 5 or 6 burritos to bring back for everybody to eat. And we would bring skateboard wheels to the burrito place. We were friends with the people who worked there, and we'd hand them a wheel and they would put it in the burrito and roll it up with the burrito. And so you'd get your burrito back and you'd unwrap it and you'd be like working on something and you bite into it, bite into a skateboard wheel.
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
How was the dental insurance at this place?
I can't go into that because I would then show my hand.
Ooh, yes. Okay.
Oh goodness.
Those three, you've got skateboard wheel, you've got roadkill, and you've got exploding Odwalla bottle. Two truths and one lie.
So, all right. First, the Odwalla. That's very specific.
Bacterial contents all throughout.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I feel like you. I don't know. Maybe he was trying to throw it off by being specific.
Yeah. But
Roadkill. I could see him doing the roadkill thing.
I want that to be true, but that's the least believable one out of all of them.
I think I wouldn't put it past this Todd.
Yeah.
It's particular Todd.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the skateboard wheel one is that one. I mean, that's pranky as well. You know what? I'm going with the Odwalla. I think that is the lie.
Okay, so Brad's going with Odwalla, and
Lock it in.
I'm gonna lock in the roadkill. I hope to God I'm wrong, but I just got to go with it. All right, Todd.
The fake story is drum roll.
Odwalla.
Roadkill.
Dang it.
Yes.
You win.
No.
I mean, I'm like a little sad. That was very bittersweet winning that.
It's a true story, but it's not my true story.
Okay.
A friend of mine did that when I was in college to the house that we moved out of.
That is awesome.
That is so bold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a doozy.
I love that. Did
It's
you
like dead opossums in a wall. Frozen.
Did you
dead
ever
opossums.
Did you ever hear anything back about it?
Well, he got the hell. This is like, after finishing college.
Yeah.
Got the hell out, and it's a college town, so people sign a 9-month lease basically, and then jam, and so it sits there for the summer.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's the part of the story I couldn't go into. Was it's going to go undiscovered for 2 to 3 months because all the places sit there unoccupied for 3 months.
Oh, okay.
And so I seem to remember him saying that someone across the street saw like a full, battery of first, like law enforcement was called in, and then after that, repair people like
my God.
a truck, a plumber, a drywall, like various service vehicles were backing up the driveway, all attending to it, because you're like, what the hell is that smell?
Yeah.
It's coming from behind this wall. You
brought
go
in
outside,
CSI.
it must be a dead dog outside. No, there isn't. The plot thickens. And that was in Santa Barbara, where it's warmer than San Francisco, so there'd be sun hitting that wall, and it got real ice.
Oh, no, that's. I'm writing that one down for any future terrible landlords I have.
Yeah, it's a good one.
No, that's a doozy.
Yes.
And so with the skateboard wheel one, did anyone ever have any sort of terrible dental injuries with this?
No,
Okay.
because it wasn't like Fred Flintstone going like into it. You were just,
that's what I pictured.
You're just kind of like
just kind of nibbling.
Very
just like
bite into it, and then like at the most you'd like, what? You pull out, there'd be a little 32 millimeter wheel.
Yeah.
You pull out between your teeth, but no, it was just, and we'd sit there and watch and stare at someone and without showing our hand and wait for them to bite into it. And then,
I love it.
Yeah.
We'll have to adopt that in the Toddcast writing room.
Just shove a Todd in your burrito.
It's like there's an entire person in this burrito. There's just a guy standing in the corner with a tortilla shell on him.
It's our worst guest, and you guys decide amongst yourself who the worst guest was. So it's that one gets stuck in the burrito.
No, that's and the Odwalla bottles. How long did that go on for?
Oh, we did it for a couple of years. I mean, we just
nice.
do it, we do it a lot. But you got to the point where you, like in murder movies, where you always should just check the back seat to make sure there's no one sitting behind the driver. You do the same thing. You just get into the car and you look under the seats every couple of days just to like make sure there wasn't a green. One was called the green machine. That was the worst one.
Oh,
yes. Green machine. It had like seaweed in it. It had like a superfood was what it claimed to be. And so that green stuff really multiplied. And when it popped, it smelled horrible.
Yeah. Like,
and yeah, it was bad news.
Yeah, 7-day-old liquid spinach stench.
Well,
Yeah.
the cap would be screwed on. So think
Yeah.
of the heat that it would take
Gas.
to
Yeah,
pop
it's
the
just-
cap off. It was-
Oh,
Yeah.
turn the spinach into
Burst.
gas. Oh, ew.
Goodness.
That's,
Yeah.
that's filthy.
Yeah. So pranks.
Yeah,
My
You're
teachers
quite
and
the-
I were all
real
prank
prankster.
You're quite the prankster.
real yuckster. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're looking forward to April 1st.
Can't wait.
Mark your calendars.
Do you really have to mark your calendar for April 1st? Like it's so easy to see that.
Yeah. I lost
It's like,
track
what's
of
today?
it.
It's April 1st.
Yeah. I thought it was the 32nd.
Right. Like
Yeah.
that's like like every other holiday, like Thanksgiving changes Thursdays and things like that. But
Yeah.
April Fool's Day is always April 1st.
Yes.
You don't have to mark your calendars, folks.
Mark your calendars. And also grab pen and paper because we're about to get some advice from Todd.
In Todd We Trust.
All right. I think
So
we
you want them
trust
to you want them to write it down?
I want them.
They can't just listen.
No, write this down because this is going to be good.
I know it's going to be.
This Todd seems very trustworthy. So I'm just going to give you the floor, Todd. What's one piece of advice you'd like to leave the listeners?
Well, I feel like my 3 pranks were, in a sense, advice.
Yes, they were.
On how to exact revenge. So I would hope people have written those ones down. There's varying degrees of damage done from just a simple teehee of a burrito with a tiny wheel in it
Yeah.
up to a more annoying, mild property damage, exploding, juice drink, up to a full throttle potential lawsuit inspiring dead zoo in your wall.
Yeah, so
I guess the things because I doing this art ambassador thing for Vans, I talk to a lot of teenagers, a lot of like young people who either are creative and trying to find a direction, or people have just gotten out of art school, and they're uncertain if they've made the right choice.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I've just been dicking around this whole podcast, and here I actually sound like I'm pretty serious about something. You guys are like, oh,
it's so
screeching
sincere.
to a halt. I'm just waiting for one of you guys to lift up and fart. So what I always tell people who are, insecure or uncertain of the direction they're going in with their career, especially if it's a creative career, but it can really apply to anything, is that you can't really control how much talent you necessarily have. But you can definitely control your effort. And I maybe it speaks a little bit to sort of my borderline workaholism, but I like to try and outwork everybody around me. And I feel that the practice that gives you in itself makes you better. And by not settling for what's good enough and maybe pushing yourself into something that is hopefully as good as you could possibly make, and pushing yourself and doing it again and again and again, and not settling and not falling in love with your own work, but always trying to be better at it. I feel that is a very healthy way to go about a career, and you'll never regret trying really hard, but you might regret not putting your heart into it and not giving it all you had because you were afraid to fail, or you're afraid to embarrass yourself in front of others, or you're afraid to find out that maybe you didn't have what it takes.
Yeah.
But I guess that would be my advice: is try as hard as you can and push as hard as you can and try and outwork everybody around you, because it'll probably pay off.
Yeah, I think that's really good
fantastic.
advice.
Yeah.
I think we definitely tend to sell ourselves short, and like you said, you just be like, that's good enough, and we kind of settle for that when I think we're all so capable of doing so much more. But yeah, and it's like if you don't work harder, someone else out there is going to work harder, and they're going to, get where you're trying to go faster or beat you there or whatever it is. That's solid advice right there.
Yeah. The one part that really stood out to me was the part where you said, you won't regret trying too hard, but you will regret not trying hard enough. Yeah. And I think that's if anybody can sit there and look back and be like, dang, if I would have, and you see it a day in your almost every day, is there's something that you go through where you're like, if I would have just done it, if I would have tried a little harder, put a little more effort in, the result would have been much different. But then you can't change it once. Some things you can't change once it's done. So put that effort in right then, do your best then. And I mean, yeah, like you said, you won't regret trying your hardest and putting in all the work you can.
And to add to that, I think there's sort of a subtext in there that like regrets are something that I'm doing everything in my power to avoid. Yeah. And I have a lot of regrets from earlier times in my life where I lacked confidence and really had no sort of sense of self, and I have done everything I can to have as few regrets since then in terms of the way that I work and my output and sort of that stuff. Yeah. And there's no one's batting 1,000, but like trying as hard as you can and not getting lazy and not mailing anything in, it can't help but bear a certain degree of fruit.
Yeah. Yeah. And the whole regrets thing is, I mean, you can look at it, use it as a synonym for just something that you can, I mean, you don't have to classify it as a regret. You can classify it as a learning experience. But I mean, that's cliche to say, but it's true. There's things there's things you can't change, and you can either sit there and dwell on, that I wish I could do this differently. Or you can sit there and be like, well, if I encounter this again in the future, I will do it differently. Mm-hmm. And it's just like you said, it's perspective. It's pretty weird how this podcast takes a 180 in this segment.
I'm sorry. This is getting way too serious.
Yeah, that entire time I was like, is this still the same podcast? Like,
I know. That's why I had to preface it the way I did. I'm like, hey, listen,
we transcended into a positive light.
And something with actual merit.
Right. Yeah. There was substance to that. We don't do substance around here.
Fleeting merit. Yeah.
But I think that was great advice, and everyone out there, hope you had your pen and paper ready.
Yeah, hope you wrote that down. That's some good stuff.
I mean, the irony is I'm getting serious and sort of dedicational in talking about basically what I do for a living, which is drawing dick jokes and fart jokes and pigeons pecking out people's eyes, and the work I do is ridiculous. Most of it, most of it's darky and funny and stupid, but I've forged a career in it. I've gotten really good at doing stupid crap, and so everybody's got their version of that. And a lot of people would say that the job that I've got is a dream job, and I would agree. But it took a lot of work to get there.
Well, you were kind of like not knocking it down, but you were saying it in a way that what you do is very rare. You say it's dick jokes, it's things like that. But like, if you can be successful running with that, like, it takes a lot more effort to be successful and make a career out of something like that than it is just to do the run of the mill landscapes or this or that. Like, you have this smaller area that has
there's less of a demand for what I do. So yeah.
So interesting market.
You're not supposed to agree with that.
I mean, you're sitting here on the Toddcast. Like, I think we're the equivalent to that.
Well, and it's funny you mentioned that too, because I've obviously we've all had a lot more time to think about things this year, and as juicy as I am with things, and there's, in addition to 270,000 dead in this country from an outbreak. I also had both my parents died this year, so it's been a very rough, challenging year for me, and yet the career stuff has never been better, and it's very confusing.
Wow.
And you get a lot of I don't know, you just have to sort of step back and try and gain some perspective on all that kind of stuff. And to feeling both blessed and cursed in the same breath. And so what I've been thinking about a lot lately is like, you know, at some point this train is going to careen off the rails, you know, and things will slow down more than I want them to, you know. And so I'm really trying to enjoy the ride as much as I can, and trying to prolong it as much as I can because it's super fun. Yeah. But I am sitting back at times now and thinking about well, coming to this point, which is perspective has never been my strong point until maybe more this year than in recent years because of everything that's happened. Yeah. And so you know, it's without sounding like an egomaniac, and I'm just sitting back and reflecting upon myself all the time. Just again, if there's a lesson to be learned, it's not settling and not taking the stuff for granted and working your ass off because it could all go away tomorrow. And you know, we could wind up with a ventilator down our tube tomorrow, but we could also a ventilator down our throat tomorrow, but we could also wind up dying or becoming seriously set back by a number of physical or mental ills. And so I'm really focused on trying to squeeze every drop out of life now in ways that I within reason, obviously, in ways that I maybe didn't have a perspective to do so in the past.
Yeah. And I mean, that's it. It sucks that the things that went on to get you to where you're at now happened, but I don't know. It's I don't know. It's rough. Like, that's crazy. And it sucks that kind of stuff happened, but it also, like you were saying, you kind of, you feel blessed this year, but you also feel cursed. So it's crazy to have so many good things happen and so many bad things happen, and you never know where to put your feelings at. Like, do I focus on the good things that have happened? Do I let the bad things happen change? And like, I mean, from what you're saying, you took some of the bad stuff and the negative stuff and put it in a light to help you move forward with your life and things that you do daily, how you put all your effort into stuff daily and things like that, because like you said, nothing is guaranteed for tomorrow. So, yeah. And also, you know, a lot of the work I do is pretty negative too. And so I'm able to get a lot of that off my chest with my work and sort of being able to laugh at the dark shit. So you've got to find ways to laugh at some of that stuff. So,
yeah.
No, but I think that was a very, very good advice.
Yeah. I think that is actually some nod-worthy advice you've given us all.
It's time to give a nod to Todd.
Yes, it was nod-worthy indeed. Oh, it's a cat. What is this? What is this cat's name?
This is Peeps.
What's up, Peeps?
Yeah.
I thought it was Bob.
It's hanging with the
This is Robert.
This is Robert Cat.
Yeah, no, this is Peeps.
Robert Meowney Jr.
That's good.
That sucked. I call my dog Tony Barks, so it kind of goes hand in hand with.
There you go.
So thank you for using our podcast as a canvas that you painted with your words.
It was more than 1,000 words.
Oh, it was so many words. More words than I thought were.
Getting it down to 1,000.
No, we had a good time, and hopefully you did as well. Once again, thanks for taking the time out. I mean, it's been a great time. Michael, did you enjoy it?
Oh yeah.
Are you satisfied? Did he meet your needs?
I'm aroused. I mean, yeah.
It was the crotch cam.
Crotch cam. And to the crotch cam. That's at some point we'll have to invest in crotch cams for this.
Yeah, seems like the next logical step.
That'll be the people have to pay extra for that.
If you don't, somebody will.
Exactly. So everyone out there, please check out his Instagram at Todd Francis Art. Check his website out or the website. thefoolsmart.com. It's in his bio or on his Instagram page, so you'll be able to access it there pretty easily. Check out the art. I mean, he's got the calendar. The calendar is going to be coming up. Is the calendar available already for 2021?
The calendar releases the first week of December.
Nice.
And but it'll still be available through January.
Okay. Yeah. So everyone check that out. I mean, check out his Instagram. He's got some great work. I think he played it down, but it's pretty funny. It's awesome. I think everyone will get a pretty good kick out of it. So, and if you go to his Instagram, you get to see the cheeks. So.
Get to hear them too.
Where did these farts come from? This has been.
I know.
Very
I can't wait. I can't wait. The next Todd is going to be like a philosopher or something, and if they get a hold of this thing first, they're like, I don't know, guys. I don't know if this is really the template for me.
No, we'll make it his template. Everyone farts. People fart. All right. So yeah, we've got your website out there. Everyone out there, like I said, check out his Instagram, check out the website. Check us out on Instagram at the Toddcast Pod. Like we mentioned earlier, this is a recorded episode, so you get to see all of our faces. You get to see, I think at one point there was a crotch cam.
For a fleeting moment.
This is a glimpse. So but check us out on YouTube. Subscribe and rate in the Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you find podcasts. So with that being said,
with that, I'm Michael.
I'm Brad, and he is Todd. Oh my goodness.
Todd.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, well.
Yeah, I didn't think we were gonna have that many farts.
Okay.
Yeah.